Welcome everybody to this second stage recap here at the 2018 Tour de Beauce. The famous Mont Mégantic stage. We saw riders going 169 kilometers from Lac Mégantic all the way to the top of the Mont Mégantic, and lots of climbing today. I'm joined by Audrey Lemieux. Thank you very much for being with us tonight to talk about this stage. So first off, Audrey, the weather conditions made it really difficult for the riders. Lots of rain, lots of cold temperature. As a rider, how does it feel to rain in that kind of weather?
Well, it depends on the rider. I'm the kind of rider who really hates that kind of weather. Actually, it's pretty hard to finish a stage for me in those conditions. However, for a certain rider, this is the best condition for them. But we have some team from Mexican team, rider that they are really used to hot weather. So for them, I'm pretty sure it was hard because from the start, at the start line and all the way to the top of Mont Mégantic, the weather dropped about 5 to 7 degrees today.
Yesterday we finished with a bunch sprint. Today there is no expectation of a bunch sprint, that's for sure, with that famous climb. Tell us about that climb in the last 4 kilometers of this stage.
Well, that climb is pretty hard. I think for the teams, it's very important to set the leader just at the bottom of the climb, safe. And also, it's important for those riders to save the energy. And once the climb starts, there is some steep section right from the start, which makes it even harder. And that's where, if you feel strong, that's where you can create a gap. So it's very important. But the climb itself, you can compare it to Europe kind of type of climb. And here in Canada, it's one of the highest points, so it's a big climb for Canada or Quebec.
Yesterday, a sprinter won, started this morning with their yellow jersey. We spoke to him after the race yesterday, and I don't think he had any expectation to keep that yellow jersey this morning. Let's go take a look at this race today. Of course, the start was at the Centre Sportif Lac Mégantic, a fairly new building, a fairly new downtown area of Lac Mégantic. What a beautiful region of this province.
Yeah, it's a beautiful region, and also the people from this region are really happy to have the riders here. It's been 33 years, and they are happy to have the riders. And as we saw on the start, the different jerseys. So we talked about Pierre-André Côté, Efrain Santos Moreno, who had a hard time today. He took the first points on the KOM, but it was a hard day for him. We can talk about it later. But they took the start, and they were really ready to race. And not so long ago after the start, the first breakaway went, and there was a big group at first, 40, 50 riders. And then after, the real breakaway of the day got created. So it was Matteo Dalcin, Benjamin Perry from Team Canada, and Rui Oliveira from Hagen's Bearman Action. So those 3 guys did a lot of K all together today on this stage.
There was 5 King of the Mountain sprints today, obviously all Category 2 except the last one, which was a summit finish, Category 1. Matteo Dalcin was in that break. Interesting because Matteo won that stage last year, not being part of the breakaway, but a part of the group. So I wonder what strategy did Rally had this morning to put Matteo in that breakaway.
Well, I think he knows that stage. Since last year he did it and he won it. So Rally, obviously, I think they only wanted a guy in the breakaway to secure things up for the rest of the stage. And after Matteo, he could be on a very, very good day, and he could climb well. We never know. But today they did so many K together, and it all came together about 7 K into the race. And that's where the things got taken by the real climber for the Mégantic.
And today the real climber proved to be Jack Burke of Jelly Belly. Jack, who launched his attack probably around the 3.5 kilometer mark from the summit. And no one answered, no one touched him, and he just seized on that opportunity and took it to the very top.
Yeah, I think he was speeding great, and also he just tried an attack, and the gap increased very quickly. and then after that you just go for it all the way to the top. And the contender who was the closest was at 30 seconds behind. So it was Thomas Revard from Hagen's Berman Axon, who was 30 seconds behind, a really, very good climber. And Sergei Tvedkov from United Healthcare at 47 seconds behind. And by the way, this team, the United Healthcare team, did most of the chase to place Sergei fresh on the top of that climb.
Now we have a new general classification heading into the time trial. The time trial being a grueling solo race for about 19.5 kilometers tomorrow morning. Again, the classification can change again in the morning. What's going to happen in the time trial?
Well, we have to say that Jack Burke is going to wear the yellow jersey tomorrow. You got Thomas Revard only 30 seconds behind him. We'll see if he's going to do well on the TT tomorrow. One that can do very well on the TT is Sergei Tvedkov. So he's sitting 53 seconds behind Jack Burke. Also from Simberg Pro Cycling, Adam Roberge. He's a very good time trialist, so he's 58 seconds behind. And we have to talk about Rob Britton from Rally Cycling. He's now at 1 minute behind Jack Burke. Unfortunately for Sventov, I think he lost a little bit too much time today. He's 2 minutes 37 behind Jack Burke, so it's going to be interesting.
It's a lot of time to catch up, more than
Yes.
2 minutes on a time trial, on a short time trial at 19 kilometers for that matter. Adam Roberge, who is also the U23 Canadian champion in the TT, so it'll be a good opportunity for him to show what he can do against the elite, against the best in the Americas in the time trial. Perhaps he can gain one spot on the podium, maybe two. The yellow would be tough for Roberge to get, I think.
Exactly.
Thank you very much for this second edition of our stage recap. This stage was brought to you by Hydro-Québec. Thank you very much to the partners for presenting these stages. And we'll see you Friday morning for a double stage day, a time trial, and a short 77-kilometer stage race in the evening.